Welcome to Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall, and we're here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Extreme Forces Racing League Full Throttle Cup Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. My name's Josh Hall. Thanks for joining us here on Intensity Broadcasting, and we're in for a fun one tonight. 105 laps here in the NexGen cars. I was talking with a couple people before the race, and they were talking about how differently these cars drive than the previous Cup cars. We are seeing a little bit of drafting, but we're also seeing a little bit of big runs that these guys are getting with these cars too. So this should be a great race for everybody involved, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. Right now at the top of the board, we got Joe Wright and Eddie Morris. We got about 45 seconds left here in practice before we go to green flag racing. Again, we thank you for coming out here tonight. Do apologize, my computer just started glitching on me. That's why I went silent for a second, but we got things back under control. We're getting ready to get some qualifying done here in just a moment. So here we go, getting ready to do some qualifying here at Texas Motor Speedway, and it's not about where you qualify here, though. It's going to be about where you race, as we've seen already this track running a little bit more like a super speedway in a sense, but at the same time, not really. I was talking to Joe Wright and Eddie Morris before the race, and they were saying that the car is definitely a little loose there at times, but they are full throttle off of turn 2 and all the way down the front stretch, but they're having to lift quite a bit going into turn number 1. So through 1 and 2, they are lifting. Through the rest of the track, though, they are wide open on fresh tires. And in traffic, dirty air. Joe said it was starting to get real pushy behind another car, so we'll have to see how these cars handle this track for 105 laps. Again, thanks for joining us here tonight. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. We can see all the chat there, so let us know who you're pulling for. As tonight's race is sponsored by Heaven's Edge Photography. So we're going to get that up on the screen for you as well. As we see, Brady Floyd jumps to the top of the speed charts at the moment. Just ran a 30.35. Oh, gets real loose there off of turn number 2. He's hard into the outside wall. That's going to end his qualifying attempt. But currently good enough for pole at the moment. Chris Wheeler currently in second with a 30.40. Eddie Morris out on track right now. And we were talking to Eddie before the race there, and he was saying that the car definitely a little bit different than what they've experienced in the past. So we'll have to see how this car plays out here in traffic. As Eddie comes across the line here. That's going to move Eddie up into the 4th position currently. Tyler Aspinall on track. Tyler, our winner from last night in the modifieds at Myrtle Beach Speedway. With the message, "Happy Birthday, Andy," on the car. Run that real high line there, getting that car all wound up here. Try to get the best run he can. He used his first lap kind of as a throwaway lap. Now you're going to see him work right down there, down to the bottom of that white line. Again, right down on the bottom through turns 3 and 4. As I mentioned, these guys are full throttle on fresh tires through turns 3 and 4, but through 1 and 2, you're having to do a little bit of lifting, and Tyler Aspinall moves up into 2nd. Ran a 30.36 to Brady Floyd's 30.35. See who else is out on track right now. Dean Qualley making his qualifying attempt. But with 30 seconds left, I don't know if he'll be able to get both laps in. Now looks like that's going to do it there for Dean. And that's going to do it for qualifying here. As the checker flag is out, we'll go through our grid here. And on pole tonight, the 6 of Brady Floyd with Tyler Aspinall to his outside in the 45. Starting in the 2nd row, we'll find Jacob Bowen in the 28 with Chris Wheeler, the 22, starting 4th. Eddie Morris in the 8, he'll be rolling off 5th with Jimmy Green in the 25 to his outside. In row number 3, Joseph Wright in the 82, he'll be rolling off 4th. I'm sorry, he'll be rolling off 7th in the 82 with Rob Hamilton to his outside. Then Dave Wright in the 24 and Austin Green will make up row number 5. In 11th spot, we'll have the 7 of Bryn George and Greg Froelich. Dylan Dunford in the 4, he'll be rolling off 13th. With Mike Rentz in the 91 and 14th. Then Dean Qualley and Patrick Genter. Round out row number 8. David Salter and Josh Carver, they'll be row 9. Row 10 is going to find the 9 of Robbie Bice, Stan Mayberry, and Max McClure will round out the field. Let's take a quick look at our point standings. You see Brady Floyd currently leading the points with Will Cloud, who won last week at Daytona, not here tonight. But with 1 win, sitting in 2nd. Max McClure in 3rd. Austin Green, Dave Salter, Jimmy Green, Chris Wheeler, Patrick Ginter, Robbie Bice, and Bryn George make up the top 10 in points. So a couple drivers having some bad luck at Daytona last week. And hopefully able to rebound here at Texas. A little different style of racing here at Texas. You're not going to see the big pack racing. Again, drafting is going to come into play. But I don't think it's going to be as intense as you would see maybe at a Daytona or a Talladega. So we'll see how this goes here. So again, Brady Floyd, your pole sitter. He's going to be right there on the pole with Tyler Aspinall to his outside. Again, thanks for joining us here on Intensity Broadcasting. Again, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you're watching, throw up in this chat here who you think is going to be the winner tonight, who you're pulling for. We like to be interactive and talk with the fans there watching at home, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch. If you're watching on eRacing TV, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see you there, but We do appreciate you coming out if you're watching on eRacing TV. And what's that? It's a free app that you can download for your Fire Stick or your Roku, and you can watch live iRacing 7 nights a week right there on the big screen. So check it out. That's eRacing TV on the Roku and the Fire Stick. Well, pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Brady Floyd is going to lead him down to the starting zone. Waiting for that green flag to fly in the air. Green flag is out. We're racing here at Texas Motor Speedway, and a great jump for that 6 machine of Brady Floyd is Tyler Aspinall. Don't know what happened to him, but he lost 2 positions there on the start. Jacob Bowen all over the back of that 6 and trying to get that bottom lane kind of working like you would see at a super speedway, as Aspinall has fallen all the way back to 5th place. And right behind him, we already see some 2-wide racing. The 5 of Rob Hamilton looking to the outside of Dylan Dunford. A little further up, we've got Eddie Morris now stuck on the outside, and he's starting to go backwards. He's got Chris Wheeler and Tyler Aspinall to his inside, and Eddie way up the track there. 3 wide off of turn number 2. Oh, we got one around in the back. The 5 of Rob Hamilton is around. Caution flag is out. And that's going to be our first caution here. That's going to be our first Wreckage Rewind of the night. Let's see if we can see what happened to Hamilton here. Just pushes up off the track, catches the wall. Oh, looked like Mike Rentz was involved in that as well. Doesn't look like he's got too much damage though, so he'll be able to continue on. But a heavy, heavy damage to the 5 of Rob Hamilton. And fortunately for him, I think he'll be able to use his one and only reset here tonight. Get that thing all fixed up and get back out there. Yeah, it looks like we don't have any takers for pit road. Oh, a couple cars actually on pit road. Dave Wright comes down pit road. Oh, Dave's got a little bit of damage. Not sure what happened to Dave there. As we mentioned, Mike Rentz, a little bit of damage on his car. Max McClure, looks like he's just topping off on fuel. Wonder if we can see what happened to Dave there. Oh yeah, Dave just barely caught a little piece. So that's where the damage to the right side of that car came from. So we're going to have to re-rack him, restack him, get ready to refire him here at Texas Motor Speedway as caution came out on lap number 3. And it seems like that high lane just is not getting good restarts. That's what we saw with Tyler Aspinall. We'll have to see if Jacob Bowen's going to be able to get a better restart here on that high side. And as the race goes on, know your eyes are not deceiving you. There is actually a bunch of cars back here. Yes, it's the Dodge crew back here. See Greg Froelich in the Chevy back there, but we got a bunch of guys with Dodge painted cars out here, which is really cool. It's really neat to see that. Kind of, if you ever want to know what the Charger might look like here. I'm sorry, the Charger might look like in the new NexGen cars. Well, there you have it. It's a great looking car, and whoever painted those up did a fantastic job. But lights are off on the pace car. We're going to re-rack them, restack them, and refire them here at Texas. As Brady Floyd's going to choose the inside for the restart. Gigabone to the outside. Joseph Wright having a great start, already up into third place. One of our bigger movers of the race. We'll have to see if he's able to get all over the back bumper of Brady Floyd and propel him forward on this start as the pace car takes that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. There it goes. Brady Floyd leads him back to the restart zone. Green flag's back in the air. We are back racing here. And a great jump again. Oh, as the yellows back out immediately. And it looks like Dean Qualley around on the front stretch. That's going to actually bring up our Wreckage Rewind this time. And see what happened to Dean here on the start, because I was right on the restart here. Oh, catches the grass on the restart. And immediately hooks the car back to the right. Greg Froelich gets involved, just nowheres to go. It looks like just the two-car incident there. Mike Rent's able to avoid this one by going through the grass. So a tough break for the 17, even tougher break for the 71 of Froelich, who's missing his whole front end right now. So heavy, heavy damage to that 71. And Greg having a great night. Sunday night in the original Rebels Truck Series, the Outlaw Truck Series. Led a handful of laps. Trying to work some strategy, but unfortunately didn't work out in his favor. It was great to see Greg leading some laps there in the original Rebels Outlaw race. Well, it looks like we're going to keep the running order pretty much the same, as we really didn't even get into turn one before the caution came out. Again, we want to thank all of our series sponsors. Tonight's race brought to you by Heaven's Edge Photography. Of course, we have our partners, Pierce Graphics, as well as Full Throttle Performance Sim Parts. It's great to have those guys come on board tonight. As it looks like we're already re-racking, getting ready to refire here at Texas Motor Speedway. And again, don't forget to join us tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a special event. It is the SCSRA, formerly the iOS series, All-Star Race, featuring all the winners from the iOS series and the Pelican Snowball Super Speedway series, as well as everybody who advanced last week from the All-Star Shootout. We saw Joe Wright advance. We saw Atman Weiss make a pass through the grass to advance. So a couple really exciting finishes there last week. It doesn't look like Greg Fronek got his car fixed. Looks like he's going to hang back there with a damaged car and save that reset for later on. As the pace car pulls off, Brady Floyd leads him back down to the restart zone. Jacob Bowman to his outside. Green flag is back in the air. And a great jump again for that inside lane as we see Jacob Bowen now struggling on the bottom side or top side to get going. Joe Wright currently moves himself into the second position, hoping for a little push here from Tyler Aspinall to move him solidly into second place. They come off of turn number 2. They were almost 3 wide, but Aspinall stays right down there. Now we see Jimmy Green in the 25 forcing the issue. He's going to sneak underneath Aspinall as they come through turns 3 and 4. Coming to the back bumper of Joe Wright. As they come off the corner. Oh, Joe Wright gets hooked by Jacob Bowen. Eddie Morris, gets a little bit involved in that as well. Cautious up. They're still wrecking behind. The 9 of Robbie Bice comes in as well. That's going to bring up another Wreckage Rewind early. Let's see if we can see exactly what transpired here. We'll take a look here from high above. And, yeah, it looks like Joe just didn't realize how tight Bowen was staying there off the corner and gets caught and up into the wall. And see Eddie Morris trying to avoid it. Makes a little bit of contact with Bowen there. Car's taken to the grass to avoid contact. And then we saw the 9 involved as he had nowhere to go. Catches Joe Wright right in the right front. The 44 of Stan Mayberry caught up in this as well. Max McClure getting a little piece coming through. Here comes Dave Wright to avoid everything. Hanging out at the back. So tough break here. We see the 9 of Robbie Bice. Gonna park it down at the bottom here and reset. So again, we're talking about tomorrow night's race, the SCSRA All-Star Race, where last week we had Joe Wright, Atlee Weiss, and Austin win each individual heats there to get their way up into the feature tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow night, a little bit of money on the line. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to seeing So Cameron Austin was the other one that qualified for the race. I couldn't remember the first name. I was having a brain fart, so I do apologize. I had to look it up. But yeah, so it should be a good one tomorrow night. So tune in for that. Also, before that, we'll have the LNS Late Model Series. Of course, Thursday we have our Thunderstruck Series. Friday, the return of the original Outlaws Xfinity Series. We're going to be taking on Daytona International Speedway. Saturday is going to be the Send It Cup Series, and Sunday, your truck doubleheader. So tune in for an exciting week of racing here on Intensity Broadcasting. Tomorrow night, you'll have the angelic voices of Dave Wright and Dylan Redding. So it looks like this time by, the lights will be going off on the pace car. Jimmy Green having a great start all the way up in the second there. See Bryn George in the 7. Up in the 4th, he is +7 on the start, along with Dylan Dunford. Also having a great run through the field right now. Currently up in the 6th place, up 7 points. We've got 2 drivers. The 88 of David Salter and the 3 of Josh Carver, both up 9 spots. So that's our biggest movers of the race. Of course, anytime you have big movers, you've got big losers. And unfortunately, a couple drivers making some big moves in the opposite directions. Drivers like Jacob Bowen currently sitting back in 13th. Eddie Morris sitting back in 16th. But a lot of race left. These guys have plenty of time to get their way back up to the field as the lights on the pace car are back on. Looks like we're going to be going one more lap here. So trying to get everybody settled up here and reorganized. So now the lights, again, are going to shut off on the pace car here. We're going to go racing in just one more lap. And we do have a stage break coming up pretty soon, so these guys will be racing to the stage break. Have to see who's going to be able to win that stage. And I do got to mention, I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again this week. Brady Floyd has that awesome throwback tribute to Mark Martin. I think it's one of the better looking paint jobs out on the track. The Dodges, I mean, those are incredible looking too. Being the way that they made those look just like if Dodge was running here in the Cup Series. So really, really sweet the way these guys have done a good job to emulate some cars here and get some different looks out on the track. But here we go. The pace car is going to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Brady Floyd's going to lead them back down to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We're back racing here at Texas, and another great jump for the leader. Again, that outside row just not getting the launch that inside row is getting, as we saw Bryn George almost try to push it in there 3 wide. Thought better of it. Now Chris Wheeler diving down to the bottom, thought about making it 3 wide. As Wheeler's going to tuck in behind George here. Try to sneak underneath the 25 of Jimmy Green. Dylan Dunford, though, right behind him, stalking these guys here. Trying to see if either one of them slips up and makes a mistake, if he can sneak on by. Now we see Dunford down underneath the 25 of Jimmy Green, and Jimmy Green now makes a crossover, gets himself down to the bottom. And he's going to try to get back around Chris Wheeler. We got Tyler Aspinall working that high side, trying to get back up to the front. Tyler on the outside pole here tonight. Won last night at Myrtle Beach. Fell back on the start. Now he's starting to make his way back up through the field here. But swings way wide off of turn number 2. And here comes Dylan Dunford making it 3 wide down the backstretch. And they're 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. These guys racing like it's the last lap. It's only lap number 18 as they come 3 wide off of turn number 4. Joe Wright already making his way back up to the front after, again, that heavy damage. Used his reset. We know he's not afraid to mix it up. It looked like he was going to make it 4 wide for a second. Thought better of it. There's still 3 wide. Aspinall up on that high side in a lot of trouble, though. Really sliding back as here comes Joe Wright in the middle here. Tight down on the 3 of Josh Carver. Now here comes Dave Wright looking underneath Joe. Dave's got a little bit of damage to that right side of that car. But he's moving his file forward, and Tyler Aspinall's falling all the way back to 10th. Up front, we got a little battle for the lead shaping up between Bryn George, Chris Wheeler, and Brady Floyd as Wheeler now all by himself up on that high side. And again, we're seeing the draft have a little bit of play here. These guys are using the draft to their advantage a little bit. Not quite like a super speedway, but a little bit of pack racing here. Much wider corners, so these guys can really spread out. 3 and 4 wide as we're still 3 wide in the back, and a yellow flag is out. That is for the stage. And Brady Floyd will be your stage winner with Bryn George, Chris Wheeler, Dylan Dunford, Jimmy Green, Josh Carver, Dave Wright, Joe Wright, Tyler Aspinall, and Rob Hamilton rounding out your top 10 for stage points. So again, Brady Floyd, your stage winner here tonight in the 6 machine. He's going to lead these guys onto pit road, I'm sure, as many of these drivers are going to want to sneak down pit road, take some tires, get some fuel, and set themselves up for the conclusion of this race. And here they all come right down pit road. Oh, we got a little incident on track between Jacob Bowen and Stan Mayberry. I'm not entirely sure what just happened with those two. But as we watch the race off pit road, I think, nope, Brady Floyd is going to win the race off pit road. Chris Wheeler, Bryn George, Dylan Dunford, Dave Wright, Joe Wright. See Joe right here. Let's get a word with Joe here. We hear Joe shutting off the car here. We'll take a look and pull Joe in and get a word. Well, looks like I'm not able to pull him in, so guess we won't get a word with Joe here tonight. Get our camera set back up for later on in the race. Kind of wanted to get a word with Joe, see how the track conditions were and what the racing was and what his thoughts were as he was making his way back through the field. So lights are still on the pace car. We're going to go one more lap before we go back green flag racing. We'll have to see if Chris Wheeler can make that high lane work a little bit better tonight than we've seen. We've seen that top lane really struggle on restarts. We'll have to see if Wheeler can change that here tonight. And the lights are off, and yes, Brady Floyd does choose the inside lane yet again. Again, we'll have to see how that outside lane restarts here. So here we go. Pace car getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn to restart this one at Texas to start the final stage of the race. Here in the Extreme Forces Racing League, brought to you by Heaven's Edge Photography. Pace car is off. Brady Floyd hits that loud pedal. Green flag's back in the air. And we are back racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. And Dave Wright already trying to make an aggressive move here to get up into the top three. And he's going to get around Chris Wheeler. Again, that high lane just not the place you want to be on restarts. See Chris Wheeler fall all the way back. Now he's under attack by Joe Wright. Joe trying to take that fourth place away. Meanwhile, up front, Bryn George trying to take the lead away. He was just looking underneath Brady Floyd, but had to back out of it just a little bit. As Brady Floyd's going to lead that lap as well. Brady Floyd has led pretty much every lap from the beginning of the race. See Jacob Bowen having to dive down on the pit road for that incident he had under yellow. And here comes Joe and Dave trying to hook up together here. As we got the intensity cars 3 and 4 here. Dave looks up to the high side. Trying to get a little run down the stretch there off of turn number 4. Now he's right there on the back bumper. Here goes Joe now looking down to the inside of his brother. And oh, Joe gets tapped by the 3 of Josh Carver. Able to hold on to it though. Going to lose a couple positions, but Joe Wright with a great save. Falls all the way back to 7th. But it gives him a chance to make the run back up front. Meanwhile, Dave Wright now to the outside of Bryn George trying to take second place away. And now he's stuck on the high side all by himself. Here comes Joe, though. Looking back to the high side. Big run, 3 wide. Chris Wheeler really had to get out of it. Now Joe's going to dive to the bottom. Almost made it 4 wide for a second as they come through turns 3 and 4. And oh, some contact between Dave and the 25. Joe gets a little piece of it. They keep going straight. Oh, now they're more contact. It looks like the 25 of Jimmy Green through the grass. Caution is out. That's a lot to take in right there as we're going to... Whoa! .25 just drove through Joe right there. And let's take a look here from the Wreckage Rewind to see what exactly happened. And actually, we're going to go back a little bit further. Well, let's bring up our replay here and see exactly what happened here. So it starts with Dave getting down into the corner, gets a little lower and gets down into the 25. Two of them make contact, and both of them have a great save here. Sliding back up the track, Joe gets a little contact there into the 25. Able to straighten it out, and Joe on the apron tries to get back up on track. The 25 is a lot lower than he thought he was going to be, and the two of them make contact. And the 25 of Jimmy Green gets sent up the track. Tyler Aspinall misses him, but the 25 gets for a spin here down through pit road. Dave getting another little piece of it right there, and again, right through the grass, able to hold on to it. And I don't know if he doesn't know who he was mad at, but it looked like he just straight up drove through the 82 here. And Mike Rentz, an innocent bystander, for no reason gets involved in that as well. So you see Dave Wright, very torn up race car right there. Not using his reset though, saving it towards the end. And it looks like Jimmy Green is no longer in the race here. Not sure if he reset or was removed. There's the 82 with a lot of damage to that machine. And again, no reset, so he's going to have to sit in there and get that thing fixed up. Is Dickert driving the 25? Are you talking about Jonathan Dickert? Because that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. No, the 25 is being driven by Jimmy Green. But if that's a Dickie Nation sighting, I would get a good laugh out of that, because that's Dickie Nation. Man, you know, it's funny. Me and Dickert go way back. As most people know who've been watching Intensity Broadcasting for a while, I've been on the service now for over 11 years. And when I first started here, me and Dickert seemed to always be in the same races together. And me and him would always find each other, and me and him would always wreck each other. And then he disappeared for a while. I knew he had some health problems. He came back, and we actually became teammates for a little while. So it's kind of crazy how things come full circle. And but yeah, that definitely looked like a Dickie Nation type incident right there. And unfortunately, Joe Wright getting the worst of it. I'm not going to repeat what Mick Olofsson just said, but I totally agree with you. And I'm not going to repeat that because it's not what I do. But yeah, you know, I'm all for letting somebody know that you're displeased, but I'm never a fan of just driving through somebody, especially under caution like that. But again, not my place to be. I'm just here to call the race. And Brady Floyd is going to be on the outside for this restart, with Bryn George to the inside. So we'll have to see how this restart goes as the pace car is off. Green flag's back in the air, and Brady gets a great jump. So being able to use that high side is actually a little bit to his advantage. I think he got a better launch on the high side this time. As here comes Chris Wheeler, looking to the outside of Bryn George. And Josh Carver up in the mix as well. There's again 3 wide. Coming down the backstretch with Bryn George, the meat of the sandwich, going into turn number 3. Here comes Eddie Morris down on the bottom. And that Morris Customs machine. Trying to take 4th place away from Chris Wheeler, but not able to get there to do it. Chris Wheeler was fighting back on the outside. Now he's going to tuck back in behind the 7 of Bryn George. Up front, Brady Floyd now under attack from Josh Carver. Carver with the aggressive inside move to take the lead away. It's the first time Brady Floyd has not led tonight. Brady, though, with the crossover, trying to get back to the inside of Carver as they come through turns 3 and 4. Little side draft in between the two. And off of turn number 4, they're going to continue to be side by side down the front stretch. And at the line, Josh Carver leads it by just a hair as they come back through turns 1 and 2. And it looks like Brady Floyd's a little bit stronger through turns 1 and 2, but Josh Carver's got the power through turns 3 and 4. So I have to see how this plays off here as they're still side by side for the lead, as now Brady dives it hard through turns 3 and 4. Carver with no help behind. Going to fall back and lose his momentum here as Chris Wheeler now looking to the inside of Carver to try to take 3rd place away. And Wheeler's going to easily clear him as they go into turns 1 and 2. Now Wheeler's going to set his sights on the 7 of Bryn George. Brady Floyd continues to lead. Now Carver back on the high side with a great launch off of turn number 2. And now the 43 of Patrick Genter also in the mix here. Tyler Aspinall and the 88 of David Salter also up in this mix. We've got 9 cars under a blanket right now. Dean Qualley just hanging on to the back of this group. As we see Chris Wheeler now sliding up. I'm sorry, that's not Chris Wheeler. That's Eddie Morris sliding up to the high side, trying to get the good strong run off the corner. Big move from Carver down to the bottom to get around Bryn George. And Carver's going to keep that momentum through the corner, take over the 2nd spot. Now we're going to see if that run continues here down the front stretch as he's trying to look to the inside of Floyd, but just not able to get there. Through turns 1 and 2, he's going to follow right in the tire tracks. Oh, the 6 pushes up the track just a little bit. Now allows Carver to hug that white line and take the lead back. A very defensive line down the backstretch as Josh Carver dives it in to the corner. Brady Floyd right there on his back bumper, though. And Josh Carver's going to lead that lap. So we're working lap 40 of 105. And Floyd doesn't look like he's able to hold the car down in the corner as well as Josh Carver is right now. So that's where Carver is just so much faster because he's able to keep that car pinned right on that white line where Brady Floyd is just not able to. Floyd, though, just tries to get a little crossover there coming off the corner. Not able to look down to the inside. He's going to have to sit there right back in those tire tracks. Meanwhile, right behind, Bryn George and Chris Wheeler continue to go at it. Here comes the 43 of Patrick Genter up on the high side. Trying to take that position away from Chris Wheeler. And Tyler Aspinall showing a little patience right now, kind of hanging back here as Chris Wheeler loses the 4th position to Genter. Now that 43 gets the tremendous run down the front stretch. He's going to look to the high side of Bryn George, battling again for the lead. Josh Carver and Brady Floyd. Tyler Aspinall now down, making it 3 wide. Back to 2 wide down the backstretch. Just not able to get clear of the 88 and the 22. Brady Floyd with the big run now down the front stretch. He was trying to use a slingshot here to get back around Josh Carver, but Carver's able to hug that white line, and you can just see how much better he's able to roll through the center of the corner than Brady Floyd is. And again, these guys are wide open through turns 3 and 4 and down the front stretch, but when they go into turns 1 and 2, they are doing just a little bit of lifting. Let's ride along here with Brady Floyd so we can kind of hear how he's managing the throttle here through turns 1 and 2. Hear how gingerly he has to get back through the throttle. Then as they come down the backstretch and into turn number 3, wide open all the way through the corner. So you see the 43 trying to make the move there. Not able to get there. Now he's going to look down to the bottom as they come down the backstretch. But not going to be able to get there. So still a great battle up here. Up at the front is now the 43 is going to look down to the inside. Oh! The big wreck here on the backstretch. The 6. Couldn't find Brady Floyd around on the backstretch. We saw it happen. And that's going to bring up another Wreckage Rewind. And let's see if we can see what happened to Brady Floyd here. So we saw the 88 of Dave Salter make an aggressive move. Whoops. That was the wrong button. Let's try that again. Make an aggressive move here down into turn number 3. And doesn't look like it. Yeah, it looks like the 6 just came down into the 88. And two of them make hard contact with the outside wall. Tyler Aspinall looks like he's going to sneak on through, but the 6... Parks it up against the wall, waits for the field to get by, so tough break for that 6 machine. Looks like he's going to come down pit road. See if he uses a reset or if he just gets it fixed up. Looks like he's going to sit there and get it fixed, so Rob Hamilton in the 5 will take over the lead. Yeah, Mick, I was talking about that earlier. Let's see if we've got a whole pack of Chargers out here. The 88, I believe the 3 is a Charger as well. It really stands out on a couple of cars. Jimmy Green's 25, it really stood out on, but he's no longer in the field. See who else has this Charger. There you go. Mayberry's got the Charger look. Again, that 43. Let's take a look a little closer because I think it's a, as you were just saying, it's a great looking paint job here. We take a look here at David. I think it's a really, really cool way that they made this car look the way they did. It does. It looks just like a Charger. They did a great job, minus the lights on the back there, but for the most part, taking the Ford here and able to make it look like a Charger. So Rob Hamilton will be your leader here, with Josh Carver in the 3 to the outside. Dean Qualley moves up into 3rd. David Salter, who was just involved in that one, is in 4th. Dean Qualley hits pit road, so he's going to fall back to the end of the line. And the lights are off on the pace car. Rob Hamilton's going to take that inside lane. We're going to re-rack him, restack him, get ready to refire him here on Intensity Broadcasting in the Extreme Forces Racing League. Evans Edge Photography. So here we go. Pace car's getting ready to duck in onto pit road. Take that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Green flag immediately back in the air. And a huge jump for Rob Hamilton, which is within the rules. As soon as the pace car pulls off and off the racing surface, they're allowed to go. And Rob Hamilton makes a huge jump there, but it could be a costly mistake as it's allowed Josh Carver to get a great draft down the front stretch through turns 1 and 2 and try to take the lead. As we see the left side of that 5 has a lot of damage to it, so I'm sure that's hindering his speed here. As Josh Carver is going to take over the lead. Here comes Rob Hamilton's falling back now as Bryn George has taken over 2nd. Here comes Tyler Aspinall, last night's winner in the Modified Series, in 3rd. Some big moves to the back here as Solider now 3 wide with Eddie Morris and Rob Hamilton. Oh, some contact. Morris goes up the track, able to hold on to a huge save for the 8 machine of Eddie Morris now. He's going to have to regroup and try to get his way back up there. As Tyler Aspinall now riding in the tire marks of the 7 of Bryn George, who takes a dive down to the bottom to try to get around Josh Carver here as they're side by side off of turn number 4. Aspinall is going to give the little arrow push here to Bryn George, who's going to clear Josh Carver going into turns 1 and 2, and Aspinall is going to go right along as well. But Carver fights back on the high side. Those two side by side fighting for a second. Here comes Chris Wheeler starting to come back into the mix as well. He's getting a huge draft off this front pack, and Eddie Morris has moved his way back in the 5th place, trying to make his way back to the front. So is Aspinall going to ride here behind George? No, George is going to make a defensive move down to the bottom. That's going to open up the top line here for Aspinall, who makes the big move to the outside. Here comes Carver, though, giving a push back to George. And now Aspinall is going to fall back to the 3rd position, and Carver, catches the apron just a little bit. That's going to kill his momentum off of turn number 2. That's going to allow Aspinall right back underneath the 3 machine. Here comes Chris Wheeler into the picture now, trying to give a push here to that bottom lane. And Aspinall is going to move back into the 2nd position. Now Chris Wheeler up into 3rd. And Eddie Morris gets around Josh Carver to move himself in the 4th position. Eddie Morris having a great run here in that 8 machine as he's all over the back bumper of Chris Wheeler. Now he's going to look down to the inside of the 22 machine. At the same time, Aspinall was just looking to the high side of George, but is not able to get the run out there. Now Chris Wheeler stuck up on the high side all by himself. And he's going to have to tuck in behind Josh Carver. So Eddie Morris up into the 3rd position. And now he's got a great draft here off of Tyler Aspinall, trying to get a run here to take away that 2nd position. But not so fast as Josh Carver's. We got one around in the back. I believe that's a 43. Yeah, the 43 hard into the wall. Yellow flag is out. That's going to bring up another Wreckage Rewind here. Let's see if we can see what happened to the 88. He was racing with Max McClure here. And Max looks down underneath the 43. Now, it looks like Max pushes up quite a bit in the corner, catches the 43 in the left rear quarter panel, and sends him right around. And see the safety equipment doing their jobs. Roof flaps and hood flaps deploy. Hard contact with the outside wall. Able to spin it back around and get it going back in this right direction. So as they come down, nobody comes to pit road here. Oh, we got Max McClure coming to pit road. And I believe that's probably going to be, behind him, Mike Rentz, Rob Hamilton, Greg Froelich, still missing his front end. Patrick Genter, all on pit road. One thing I can guarantee with the 71 of Greg Froelich, with his hood missing there, his temps are fine. I can guarantee you that. Well, uses his reset now. Now he's got a front end back on that car, so he's going to roll back out there, realizing that he's not really gaining anything by not having that car fixed up. Speaking of cars that are fixed up, Joe Wright able to get his car fixed up as well as he could. He's still hanging out there back at 11th. Dave Wright also with some damage on his car. He's currently sitting in 7th. Brady Floyd with a lot of damage to his car as well. You see the bumper or the hood there pushed up, the rear end pushed in, and he's still riding around in 6th. So, and even the 3 has a little bit of damage to the front end. And able to continue on, so we'll have to see how that plays out later on in the run as tires start to wear off. Cyree Reed says Doe. Yep, Doe is correct for the 43. Just gets tagged by Max McClure. And Max is going to restart 16th. Jacob Bowen also on pit road again. Jacob with quite a bit of damage to the right rear and the front of that car. So see what Jacob can do here. It looks like he's going to get some more damage fixed while the lights on the pace car are still on. Again, thanks for joining us here on Intensity Broadcast. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we do appreciate you coming out and spending your Tuesday night with us. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we've got a doubleheader as the LNS Late Model Series will be kicking off at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, followed by the SCSRA All-Star Race. That's a mixture of the old iOS series and Pelican Snowball series, all rolled into one. For their All-Star Race, it's all the previous winners of the iOS series, as well as the Pelican Snowball Series. And we had 3 people qualify in last week in the shootout. Joseph Wright won the first heat. Atlee Atman Weiss won the second race. And Cameron Austin won the third race. And if you didn't check that one out, I suggest going back and watching that, because Atlee won his heat in one of the most dramatic fashions I've seen in a long time, and it was a great race to call, great race to watch. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that all-star race shakes out tomorrow night. Yours truly will be in that race as well, so we're going to have a little different broadcasting crew tomorrow night. You'll have Dave Wright and Dylan Redding calling the shots tomorrow night for the all-star race. Don't want to miss it, so check it out. Also, a little bit of an announcement as well, if you follow any of these leagues here. The Pelican Snowball Series has merged with the SERL to form the SERL Super Speedway Series. So I know that's not broadcast here on Intensity Broadcasting, but you can find the Intensity Broadcasting cars in those races. So cool little move there. Looking forward to the future of that league as well. I like to support all our leagues, all the ones we race in and broadcast. So here we go. Lights on the pace car are back out. Pace car is going to lead them back down to the starting zone. Bryn George chooses the inside this time. Aspinall is on that outside, as we saw again, that outside just not getting the starts that inside lane's getting, but pace car pulls off. This time, George is going to wait for the green flag to come out. Green flag's in the air. And we are back racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. And again, you can see that high lane just not getting a good run, as here goes Eddie Morris and Brady Floyd. As Eddie's going to lose quite a few spots, but Aspinall ends up the worst of that exchange, falling all the way back to 6th. Chris Wheeler following Brady Floyd up here. Brady down on the bottom here, getting around Josh Carver. And we saw Brady was fast early in the race, led a ton of laps, dominated the first half of the race. And now he's trying to get his way back up into the lead, as we can see the 7 of Bryn George. Again, the leader just not able to hold that bottom lane, as well as some of the cars behind. Now to Aspinall, makes a big move down to the bottom. Again, 3 wide going into turn number 3. And Aspinall is going to be the big gainer on that exchange, moving himself up into 5th as he's battling side by side with Josh Carver to try to take 4th place. But Carver fighting back on the outside. But it looks like Aspinall is just going to be too strong here as they rocket down the backstretch. And almost some contact. Chris Wheeler gets out of shape, makes some contact with Josh Carver. And they are 3 wide yet again through turns 3 and 4. Now Wheeler's going to sneak down behind Brady Floyd, leave Josh Carver stuck up on the high side. And again, Aspinall down on the bottom now, trying to get that bottom lane to work. Chris Wheeler all over the back bumper of Brady Floyd, giving him the big shove through the corner. Now Brady Floyd crossover, big move down to the bottom. Looks like he's looking for some drafting help, it almost looks like, trying to get the run here. As they're side by side behind him, 3 rows deep. Greg Frodnick making his way back up through the field, currently up in 8th. Making some big moves. Dave Wright pushes way up the track. That's going to allow Frodnick to dive down underneath. Now Frodnick's 3 wide with Dave Wright and Max McClure. Almost thought about making it 4 wide for a second. Aspinall now moves himself solidly into 3rd place. Here comes Josh Carver around the 22 of Chris Wheeler, and Eddie Morris right there trying to give Chris Wheeler the push as they come across the line, though. Bryn George will be your leader with Brady Floyd right there on his back bumper. Aspinall now looking down to the inside, pushes up the track just a little bit. Here comes Josh Carver, able to hook that bottom better than anybody else so far. Oh, Aspinall gets turned by Carver. Yellow flag is out. Hard contact for Aspinall with that inside safer barrier, and that's going to bring up yet another Wreckage Rewind. Let's see if we can see what happened, exactly what happened here at Aspinall. As I was mentioning, Josh Carver able to work that bottom lane better than anybody else here tonight. And Aspinall looks like maybe he was kind of diamonding the corner a little bit. And as they come off the corner, here comes Carver trying to give the shove. Gonna look down to the inside and just didn't look quite enough inside. Makes contact with the 45. And again, hard impact with that inside safer barrier. Fortunately, the only car involved in this one. And for those of you who do iRace, it just happens so fast. Sometimes you just don't have time to react, as we'll sort of ride along here with Aspinall. Hard contact. Oh, Chris Wheeler stays out on track. Brady Floyd, Eddie Morris, Joe Wright, bunch of cars out on pit road. You see the race off pit road. Joe Wright's going to win the race off pit road. Ahead of Bryn George, but Bryn George, Max McClure, Josh Carver, Dave Wright, Tyler Aspinall, Stan Mayberry, Eddie Morris, Mike Rent, all hitting pit road on this yellow. And I think these guys are pretty much going to be able to make it now to the end. Mick Olofsson says, call the medic for that one for sure. That was a hard impact for the 45 machine of Tyler Aspinall. And, you know, that's a hit that we see many NASCAR drivers take in that exact same spot. So we know how hard of a hit that can be. But me, I'm a huge Ryan Preece fan. I remember watching Ryan Preece have a similar hit at Kentucky that almost sent that over onto his roof. So fortunately here on iRacing, you can just hit a reset button and get yourself a brand new car and get yourself back out there. So Chris Wheeler showing some speed. Last year in the iOS series, he was in the championship 4, going into Phoenix, having a great run and showing some consistency here tonight with this new NexGen car. The next time by, we'll have we're taking lap number 72. Lights on the pace car should be coming off this time. And again, Chris Wheeler does take that inside line. When they cross the line this time, we'll have just 32 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. Greg Froelich up on the outside lane here for this restart. Froelich having another great run. We saw him have a great run Sunday night in the Original Rebels Outlaw Series, and tonight here having a great run. So let's see what he can do here on this restart, as we've seen the leader have such a tremendous advantage here on these restarts. Pace cars off. Chris Wheeler leads him down to the restart zone. Green flag's back in the air. We're back racing, and I'd have to say that's probably one of the better restarts that we've seen the second place driver get, as Dean Qualley's looking to the inside of Froelich, but Froelich is almost holding on to that second position. Here comes Qualley. Going to clear Froelich here as they come down the backstretch, and Chris Wheeler gets a huge lead going into turn number 3. Now Froelich pushed up the track just a little bit, but try to hang on to it. Going to continue to hold on to that third position. And Chris Wheeler with such a big lead right now, unfortunately, I think it's a bad thing for him, because he's going to get absolutely driven by here as the yellow flag is out, as the 6 car Brady Floyd is around. That's going to bring up another Wreckage Rewind here. So let's see if we see what happened to the 6 machine here. Coming off of turn number 4. Battling with Bryn George and Josh Carver. And, a little contact from the 3. Catches the inside wall. Holds on to it. Does not catch any other drivers or the outside wall. Able to get away pretty much scot-free there. He's going to come down pit road and get that car fixed up, I'm sure. And Chris Wheeler's going to continue to lead. In the chat, we have Jennifer Bowen saying, come on, 28. Jacob currently running in the 4th position. A little bit of damage to the right rear of that car, but able to hold speed right now. Chris Wheeler continues to lead. We have, next time by, we're going to have just 25 laps to go. Oh, do apologize for my screen there. Let's take you through the field real quick while we're under caution. Chris Wheeler continues to be your leader with Dean Qualley sitting back in 2nd. Greg Froelich having a great run up in 3rd. Jacob Bowen making his way up in the 4th position. Rob Hamilton, early leader, up in 5th. Bryn George sitting in 6th. 7th, Josh Carver making his way back through the field. Joe Wright, after having an unfortunate incident and getting absolutely demolished under yellow, still able to hang on to a top 10 right now, sitting in 8th. Max McClure in 9th. Dave Wright, the other intensity driver, sitting back in 10th. Eddie Morris, another one of our intensity broadcasters, sitting in 11th. Mike Rentz in 12th. Stan Mayberry in 13th. Dave Salter, Patrick Genter, Brady Floyd, and Tyler Aspinall round out your top 17. Austin Green, Jimmy Green, Robbie Bice, and Dylan Dunford all retiring for the evening. as the pace car continues to lead them around. Don't forget to join us next week as the Extreme Forces Racing League takes on Auto Club Speedway for 90 laps, followed by Charlotte. Then we're going to get our first real different taste of racing here in this new next-gen car, as they'll be taking on Dover. Then we'll have the half mile of Chicagoland, Talladega, Atlanta, Michigan. Then we'll move on to the short track of Bristol, Kansas, and then Las Vegas to finish it out. So check out the rest of the season here. And again, next week, California Auto Club Speedway. It's always a great track that lends a lot of exciting racing. So we'll have to see how that pans out here. As we're getting ready to go back green flag racing. Chris Wheeler is going to take the high side this time on the restart. Leaving Dean Qualley down on the bottom side and Greg Froelich right behind him. So I think that might be a little bit of a advantage for those two down there, as I know they like to work together in other leagues. Let's see if Froelich and Qualley can get something hooked up here on the start. Jacob Bowen laying back just a little bit, trying to time the restart, looks like. As the pace car comes off turn number 4, takes that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Chris Wheeler back to the gas, green flag back in the air. Jacob Bowen sees exactly what Chris Wheeler was putting down there, and he's going to move himself up in the second place, but Dean Qualley fighting back now on that low side. Greg Froelich taking a look now to the inside. Dean Qualley not quite close enough to make the move. He's going to have to tuck back inside, or back behind the 17. Jacob Bowen hanging out there in third. Here comes Froelich again, trying to look to the inside. Just not close enough, though, to make the move as they come into turn number 1. And now Froelich's down to the inside with a great run. He pushes up the track, almost makes contact with Dean there, and he's going to lose all his momentum as he's going to have to try to fight Jacob Bowen as they come into turn number 3. Now Dean Qualley looking down to the inside of Chris Wheeler, trying to take the lead away. A battle for the lead. Dean Qualley, Chris Wheeler, as they come side by side into turn number 1. We have just 25 laps to go here. Jacob Bowen now looking to the inside of Chris Wheeler. Not able to get there. Now Bryn George takes the look down to the inside. Again, not able to do it. Dave Wright underneath Greg Froelich. Dave's going to move himself up into the 5th position. Froelich is starting to slide back just a little bit. Now Wright, with the drafted help, is going to get the big slingshot here down into the backstretch. Froelich way up the track. Up into the wall, collects Joe Wright. Yellow flag is out. Ooh, hard contact for Josh Carver. Caught the inside and outside wall. That's going to bring up another Wreckage Rewind here. As we saw Froelich having some issues. I'm not really sure what happened to Froelich there. Almost looks like he cut down a tire the way he went up the track, caught the wall, came down into Joe Wright. Max McClure, you see Josh Carver hard into the inside and outside wall. Man, that's a hard hit for that 3 machine. Let's ride along here with Josh Carver because I want to see, we can see exactly what he saw. Fronek just up into the wall, comes down, catches Joe. Hard inside and outside contact for that 3 machine. And now everybody's going to come down pit road. Oh, Bridge George stays out. Eddie Morris stays out. Dean Qualley, Chris Wheeler, Jacob Bowen, David Wright, all on pit road. We see Joe Wright on pit road as well. I think he's going to have to get some damage fixed up from the contact with Greg Fronek. So watch for the race off pit road. And Chris Wheeler's barely going to beat Dean Qualley off. Jacob Bowen third. Max McClure, David Wright, Rob Hamilton. Here comes Mike Rentz, Tyler Aspinall, and Joe Wright staying on pit road, trying to get the rest of that damage fixed.
What a night, hey, Josh?
Joe, man, I see you coming into the booth here. Man, a tough night for you. Are you pretty much parking it for the night?
No, I got a minute 20 left here on this optional repairs. It's just a heck of a night, man. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I tried pulling you in earlier, but fortunately I didn't have permissions to move you around. But I want to get your take on the racing out there, and I don't want to get into any specific incidents, but I saw you at one point really forcing the issue 3 wide towards the end of that stage break there, and seems like these cars are really, really racy in the pack.
Oh, they're super racy in the pack. The problems that you're going to have here are the give and take, right? Like around other people. If people would just give a little bit and take a little bit versus always blocking or trying to stop people or side draft them, you know, it would be much better racing. We're just running into that problem where people are just getting used to each other, I think, here in this league. So it's just a matter of time. Just get it all ironed out.
For sure. And, I know you were just caught up in that little one there. It looked like, from our point of view here in the booth, it looked like Fronek cut a tire or something. Did he come across and say what happened to him, or did he just overdrive it?
Not sure. All I know is he came back across the track and straight into my door. I did get into the 3 a little bit in the middle of that corner, a little pushy, he was real tight. So sorry to him on that. But he just got collected, I think, by Fronek after Fronek came off the wall.
Yeah, he hit the inside and outside walls, both incredibly hard. So. As I know you pretty much, with the damage that you have, you're going to be out of it, just trying to get some points here. Who do you like here at the end of this? Who's looking good out there tonight?
Well, Eddie Morris has been saving it. We'll just say that. Watch out for Dean Qualley up there too. I know Dave Wright's got a new car. He just hit pit road there. I don't know if he had any damage, but I don't know. It's Wheeler's been looking good all night too up there, so we'll see.
For sure. Well, Joe, I appreciate you talking with us under caution here. It looks like the lights on the pace car are off. We're going to go back green flag racing. So good luck out there for the rest of the race, and go get some points.
Thanks, buddy.
So that was Joe Wright joining us there in the booth as we're getting ready to re-rack, restack, and refire here in Texas. When we refire here, we'll have just 19 laps to go. And you heard Joe. Watch out for Eddie Morris here. Maybe been playing a little bit of sandbagging here throughout the race. He's sitting back in second. He's currently on the inside row as Bryn George is going to take that high lane. See Brady Floyd making his way back up there into the top 4, along with the 88 of David Salter. So we'll have to see how this one shakes out here, as we have just a handful of laps left. Waiting for the field to tighten up here. Pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. And George is going to lead him back down to the restart zone. Green flag's back in the air. We're back racing. And again, a great jump for the car on the inside. Eddie Morris got a good jump here. He's got Brady Floyd to his outside, but Eddie able to stick it down there on that low side. We'll see if he's able to keep that momentum up off the corner. So he's starting to get a little bit of help from the 88 of David Salter. Throws a little bit of a block on Brady there as they come through turns 3 and 4. Now Brady Floyd and David Salter are going to go at it as Salter's going to get the run on the low side to get around Brady Floyd. Oh, Brady Floyd around on the front stretch. Contact with the 43. Caution flag is out. Let's see if we can see what happened there on the 6. That 6 is not sounding too happy either. I don't know if he's got some engine damage or what there, but as they were coming down the front stretch, and it looks like Brady, a little bit of net code. I think Brady thought he was clear. A little bit of net code between those two, and that sends the 6 right around through the grass. Not a whole lot of damage. I don't think either one of those cars are going to be in bad shape. So just a tough break there for those two. As Eddie Morris is going to continue to stay in that second spot. Dean Qualley moving up into the 4th spot. I'm sorry, 5th spot. So good move for him. And with just a handful of laps, let me know in the chat who you think is going to win this one. It's going to be Bryn George. It's going to be Eddie Morris. It's going to be David Salter. Chris Wheeler, Dean Qualley, one of our top 5. Is it going to be a surprise from the back? Could we get a surprise win by somebody like, Dave Wright or Max McClure, Jacob Bowen, something more towards the back of the field right now? Let me know in the chat. And again, don't forget to join us tomorrow night for the SCSRA All-Star Race from Chicagoland. All the past winners of the iOS and Pelican Snowball Series will be taking on Chicagoland for a little bit of money, a little bit of bragging rights, and a whole lot of fun. So check that out. You'll have you'll have David Wright and Dylan Renning on the call for that one. Mick Olofsson says he's pulling for Qualley, and I think a lot of people would be pulling for Dean Qualley tonight. Having a great run up in the top 5. Again, Eddie Morris just kind of hanging back right now. You heard Joe say in the little in-race reporter that he's been kind of saving and holding back a little bit from the start. So we'll have to see what he's got here with just 15 laps to go. Also, Chris Wheeler sitting back and forth. He's showed a lot of speed all season long. Showed a lot of improvement last year in the iOS Cup Series. Is continuing to show some speed here in the Extreme Forces League. So, great run for that 22 machine. We'll have to see how if he's able to get it done here tonight at Texas. As this time by, the lights on the pace car should be shutting off. We'll have just one more lap before we go back. Green flag racing. So we're going to get them restacked double file here. With Bryn George taking the inside this time. Eddie Morris on the high side. We'll have to see if Eddie's able to start strong here. Going to have Chris Wheeler right behind him, and we know Chris has been strong all night long. We'll have to see if those two are going to be able to work together to get up there to the lead. Or if Bryn George is going to get a little help from the 88 of David Salter. So here we go. Pace car is going to take that hard left-hand turn. Bryn George is going to lead him back down to the restart zone. He's going to hit that loud pedal, and green flag's going to fly back in the air. We're back racing here. And a great jump for Eddie Morris. I think that's the best jump we've seen the second place car get all night long. We've got a little incident in the back. Joe Wright and Patrick Genter around on the front stretch. No caution, though. As the 88 giving a big push to the 7 to move Eddie Morris into third place. Here comes Chris Wheeler trying to move Eddie in the 4th, and Dean Qualley also getting a big run here. So Eddie with losing all the momentum up on that high side as Bryn George and David Salter were nose to tail with a big push to move them up to the front. Now a defensive line by Bryn George. That's going to put Salter up on the high side. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Chris Wheeler's able to get a huge run, or he will be getting a huge run with a great pull from the draft of those two cars in front. Now, I do see a little bit of damage on the front of that 22 machine, so we're going to have to see if that plays any part here, as Brady Floyd now has moved up into the 4th position, and Eddie Morris has fallen all the way back into 8th place. Now we have just 11 laps to go. Can Eddie get himself back up there? We've been able to see cars work from the back to the front here as Brady Floyd gets around the 22 Chris Wheeler to move into 3rd. David Salter all over the back bumper of Bryn George. And George doing everything he can, running a little defensive line here, trying to keep that 88 behind, but as he runs a defensive line, that's going to keep the 88 bogged down, and that's going to allow the 6 to pull right up alongside, as we almost just saw. Oh, 7 gets turned. Bryn George around on the front stretch through the grass. Caution is out. Tyler Aspinall almost runs into the back of Bryn George. And, man, what a interesting turn of events right there. As your leader just got turned by the second place car going down, coming off of turn number 4. So we're seeing right off of turn number 4, the 88 right up there And yeah, makes some good solid contact with the left rear of that 7 car. 7 goes sliding down through the grass. And man, tough break. Now I want to go back and take a look to see what happened on the restart here between the 82 and Patrick Genter here. And well, Joe Wright pulling an Eddie Morris in the Isaiah Gill incident, if you know what I'm talking about there, catching the grass, spinning back across the track. So tough break for the 82 machine. Started off having such a great night, and having some bad luck now towards the end of the race. So we'll have just a handful of laps here where we restart. What happened to Quali? Let's see. Well, Quali is currently a lap down. Quali is currently off the track. I think Dean might have had some connection issues. Let's take a look here at Dean Quali. Yeah. Looks like Dean dropped right out of the race. Unfortunate. Fortunate turn of events for Dean Quali as well, so. Bad luck for quite a few drivers here. But when we refire here, we're going to have just about 5 laps to go to settle it. As the lights are off on the pace car, we're going to re-rack them, restack them. Dave Salter takes the inside, with Brady Floyd to his outside. Chris Wheeler going to restart in third, and Max McClure up in fourth. Eddie Morris fifth, and the 5 of Rob Hamilton. Restarting sixth, Jacob Bowen seventh, David Wright, Stan Mayberry, and Mike Rentz make up your top 10. As again, when we take the green flag, we'll have just 5 laps to go. Eddie Morris hanging out on that bottom row, sitting back in fifth. Joe said he had some speed. We'll have to see if he's able to work his way back up there. Max McClure up here at the front too. Last week came home third. Tonight having a solid night, sitting in fourth, having another good points day. So I'll shake up the points a little bit here as the pace car pulls off on the pit road. Dave Salter leads them back to the line real slow, way off the pace car here. Green flag back in the air. We're back racing. And a huge lead for Salter off the jump of the start. With 5 laps to go, I think that's going to hurt him here. As Chris Wheeler and Brady Floyd are side by side. With Max McClure sitting back here, ready to pounce if either one of them makes a mistake. Oh, Max almost gets up into the side of Brady Floyd. Now he's going to move back down to the bottom. Here comes Rob Hamilton. Looking down. Oh, some contact between David Wright and Eddie Morris back there. And Chris Wheeler now getting the big draft off the 88 machine. Trying to get his way back up to the front. Here comes Brady Floyd. Also right there trying to make him big of a push here. Here comes the 22 down to the bottom. Salter pushes up the track. Here comes the 22 to take the lead. And now he's going to block both lanes. He's going to make a really defensive move down to the bottom. And he's going to take over the lead, the sole possession of the lead. As Salter is just falling backwards as Brady Floyd gets around. 3 laps to go. Now we got 2 laps to go at the line. Can Brady Floyd do anything? As Brady Floyd's going to look down to the bottom of Chris Wheeler. Not going to be able to get there. Oh, we got him around to the back. Yellow flag will be out. Caution. That's going to set up a green-white checker. And we see Rob Hamilton hard contact the back of that car. All smashed up. And that's going to bring up our 13th caution of the night. And another Wreckage Rewind. Let's see if we can see what happened here. As Rob Hamilton's down on the bottom. He's got Jacob Bowen right there behind him. And they're going to go 3 wide. And it looks like the 5 just didn't realize that Bowen was right there. And as he slides up the track, he collects Max McClure. Dave Wright gets a little piece of it as well. And I think those are the only 2 cars and 3 cars involved. So Chris Wheeler's going to have another restart here. As we're setting up a green-white checker. And for some of these guys towards the back, names like Dave Wright, Eddie Morris, I just don't think there's enough time for them to get back up to the front. We'll have to see. So as we set up this green-white checker, we want to thank you again for joining us here in Intensity Broadcasting in the Extreme Forces Racing League. This is the Heaven's Edge Photography 150 here in Intensity Broadcasting. Again, don't forget to join us tomorrow night for the SCSRA All-Star Race. As I come across the line this time, I believe the lights on the pace car. Nope. lights on the pace car. They didn't cross the line. I thought they were just about to cross the line. So this time by, the lights on the pace car will be going off. We're going to have just 3 laps to go. Unless we get another green-white checker. Rob Hamilton down on pit road. Getting the rest of his damage repaired. Don't think he has another reset. Nope, he's going to get that damage repaired. Max McClure still on pit road as well. Patrick Genter also on pit road. So a few cars with some heavy damage. We see Greg Froelich is also retired tonight. Dean Qualley has officially retired for the evening. As they cross the line here, we're going to go back double file for the restart. And again, Chris Wheeler is going to take that inside lane. We're only going to have about 12 cars left out on track right now, out of the 21 that started. Great look down the backstretch of Texas here. Sounds like one car is riding around in first gear, trying to burn some fuel, trying to get that car light for a better start here, for a little more speed. As they come off of turn number 4, pace car dives down the pit road. Chris Wheeler leads them back to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. 2 laps to go here. Chris Wheeler with a great jump here this time, and with 2 laps to go, it's a great time to have a big jump like that. Can Brady Floyd and David Salter do anything to get themselves back up to the front? Chris Wheeler runs up high here, not really running as defensively as he was earlier. Now he's going to run right back down onto that white line. Brady Floyd is there, though, as they come off of turn number 4. Floyd all over the back bumper of Chris Wheeler. White flag is in the air. We will not have another attempt at a green-white checker. They go into turn number 1. Chris Wheeler with a great run through turns 1 and 2. Runs that defensive line down on the bottom. Throws a big block down the backstretch. As they come into turns 3 and 4, Brady's going to look down to the bottom. Not going to be able to get there. Chris Wheeler pushing up the track just a little bit. Catches the apron. Coming off of turn number 4. And Chris Wheeler is going to come across the line and win it. Bryn George is going to come home second, and Brady Floyd comes home in third. But your winner tonight is the 22 machine of Chris Wheeler. And again, a great run. Dave Wright comes down to give the little respect down to Chris Wheeler and ends up wrecking the field. But Chris Wheeler, your winner here tonight in the Extreme Forces Racing Heaven's Edge Photography 150. And man, what a great race. What a great run for Chris. As I mentioned before, much improved from the last couple seasons in iOS, and he's really showing how he's able to take these next-gen cars to the next level. Having a couple great finishes here, and he's going to burn it down on the front stretch. Let's take a look at your results here. As Chris Wheeler will come home your winner. Bryn George second. Brady Floyd third. David Salter comes home fourth. Dave Wright having a great bounce back to come back fifth. Eddie Morris, Jacob Bowen, Stan Mayberry, Mike Rentz, and Joe Wright. Joe Wright coming back from adversity with a top 10 finish. Tyler Aspinall finishes 11th. Rob Hamilton 12th. Max McClure, Dean Qualley, and Patrick Genter round out your top 15. 16th, Greg Froelich. 17th, Josh Carver. Austin Green at 18th. Jimmy Green at 19th. Robbie Bice and Dylan Dunford round out the field. But tonight, it's all about this man, the 22, Chris Wheeler. And what a great job for Chris tonight. Car is all beat up. But he's still looking good in it. Getting the win. Let's see if we can talk with our top three here. It looks like Chris is the only one in the booth. I don't see the other two. So let's pull in our winner, Chris Wheeler. Chris, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Man,
Good to talk to you.
I bet you are, especially from this position. Sitting there,
absolutely.
P1. Car's a little torn up, but able to get the win tonight. How'd you do it? How did you able to hold those guys off on the last lap there?
It's tough. I thought it was going to be a little tougher. Thankfully, we all had a little bit of damage, I think, at the end, and I was able just to put my car in the right spot to throw his car off and not allow him to get a good run. Just worked out. I haven't ever run this car on this track, and I think I like it.
I was going to say, you're really starting to show the strength that you've had in these next-gen cars, having a great finish last week at Daytona and now coming back here with another great finish, winning the race at Texas. And I said in the race, in the broadcast, that I've really noticed how much you've improved over the last couple of years, making the top 4 in the iOS last season, and now coming home with 2 podiums here to start the season. You must be feeling pretty good about the rest of the season here in the Extreme Forces League.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. This season is gonna be competitive. I can tell that. We got a lot of good drivers, but I've really just kind of changed over the past couple seasons. I've changed my strategy. Instead of just going in and being aggressive and trying to take every pass I can, I just try and take it a little easy and just make it there to the end. That way I have a chance, because otherwise you just get caught up and just ruins your race early.
That's for sure. And do you think it's an advantage for you? Everybody kind of in this new car, nobody really knowing how it's going to drive or the characteristics of it.
It definitely evens it out a little bit. I'm sure some people's got a little more seat time in them than I do. I've only run probably a handful of races in them, but and they haven't been very good. So it's refreshing. I've made a few adjustments to my pedal setup, and that helped a lot. And it's refreshing to finally get a good run out of me. Even if I wouldn't have pulled the win off, it was good to lead some.
For sure, you showed a lot of strength out there, a lot of patience, a lot of give and take, and end up in victory lane tonight here at Texas. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you got to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Max and Dean for putting this league on and having me, because it's a lot of fun. I know we had a few cautions tonight, but hopefully everybody can calm down and we can get that settled in and have some good racing and some long green flag runs from here on out.
That's for sure. Do you think that's, before I let you go, one more thing. Do you think that's just a product of the new league? Just people not really running with each other, not really knowing each other's driving style?
Well, I think a lot of it's to do with this new car and how the air affects everything, because, you throw a side draft on somebody, it'll get their car out of shape. And it's just getting used to all that, I think, is a lot of it. And then also learning each other, everybody's driving style. Some guys are a little more aggressive with the blocks, and some guys will give you more room. And it's just learning who you need to be a little more careful around, so you don't get caught up in one of their bad blocks.
For sure. Well, again, congratulations on the win. I see second and third just popped up in the waiting room, so we're going to let you go. And again, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon as the season goes on.
Sure hope so. It's fun coming up here and talking to you, Josh. I appreciate you.
So that was your winner, Chris Wheeler. Let's pull in our second place finisher, Bryn George. Bryn, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Man, great run tonight coming home second. A lot of battle in there at the front. I know Chris was throwing some big blocks there at the end. Not much that you could really do, but at the end, was there anything differently you could have done there, or was it just not enough time coming down to the end with that green white checker?
Probably not enough time. I had my teammate in front of me. I did have fresh tires, so I was pretty quick. I was actually leading like the majority of the race, and then I got dumped from the lead, and that kind of really screwed my race. But other than that, it was not enough time. I had a quick car though.
Yeah, you definitely had a quick car. We saw that from the drop of the green flag. And I was talking with Chris again. It seems like, we did have a lot of cautions tonight. Do you think that's just a product of just not knowing each other and just still trying to learn not just a new car, but a bunch of new faces here in a league like this?
Yeah, definitely. I think that definitely has a factor. The new car, this track is pretty competitive. So when it's pretty competitive and we're all kind of equal, there's going to be more accidents. Um, just a lot of take and no give sometimes, and that's how accidents happen.
For sure. And it happens, especially in a league with a bunch of new faces and when the cars are that tight. And it seemed like the cars were really racy, though, and they looked like a lot of fun to drive out there.
Yeah, they were really fun. The tire advantage I didn't think would play as much of a factor, but I restarted after that last caution before the green white checkered like 12th, and I drove all the way up to 5th in like 3 laps. So yeah, it was a fun track.
Well, before we let you go, Bryn, anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you got to give?
I like to shout out my teammate Brady Floyd. Finished third today. He got in a lot of accidents today, so pretty good to finish third. Propairings.com, and you for streaming it. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. And sure we'll talk to you again soon as the season goes on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that was your second place finisher, Bryn George. Let's bring in our third place finisher here, Brady Floyd. And Brady, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, great run here tonight. Led a lot of laps. Had a couple incidents there towards the middle of the race. Able to drive back up into the podium here tonight. How'd you do it? What was the strategy to get yourself back up there after the contact that you had earlier in the race?
Oh man, when you say contact early in the race, you really got to specify because there was quite a lot of it today. But I mean, I had a good car all night. I definitely knew pretty early on. I mean, especially after qualifying, that I was going to be fast tonight. I don't particularly like this track, but I do like the cars a lot. So I mean, we had some speed. I was able to save my tires a little bit better than everyone. Um, there during some of the longer runs, but no, it was all about just getting to the bottom off the restarts and then not making mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed that you were one of the few cars. You and Josh Carver seemed to be the two cars that could really hold that white line through the corner to keep the speed off the corner too. Was it kind of tough there on older tires though to keep that car down on the bottom? Because I did see a couple times where Josh Carver was able to get down underneath you through the corner. But would tire wear just that much of a difference there for you?
Um, no, not really. This track's really weird where, and I mean, I think we saw it tonight where no one would in their right mind drive Texas like we drove it tonight, but everybody was just so hungry on the bottom that they'd send it in there. And I mean, you can't really pass on the bottom like cleanly, but you take the line away, so it forces other people into mistakes. But I think I saw it early when I was coming through the field on old tires that you can't just send it on the bottom and expect it to work if you don't have new tires. So it's a lot about just trying to manage the car into one, let off enough and arc the car well enough, but it's so hard to do when everybody all they're doing is just trying to ride the white line.
Yeah, for sure. I can understand that. And Brady, before we let you go, anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, I don't have them on the car, but I'd love to thank my sponsor, Four Cloak Media. Definitely want to say shout out to Pierce Graphics as well and Atkinson Designs. Hell of a run here from Bryn. He did all he could to get up from where he started and then where he got put back to about 2 cautions from the finish. He had the race won. I feel sorry for him. I thought I had the race won. Feel sorry for me, but big congrats to Chris. He ended up pulling it out. I think I'll stay points leader, so hoping and praying for that. But otherwise, no, thank you guys for broadcasting. Hopefully we can clean it up for you next week.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, as the season goes on, how do you like your chances? A lot of mile and a halfers here, so how do you like your chances moving forward?
I may have to miss a few races. Not too certain on what's going to happen with that, but if we keep getting fields and races like this, I like my chances a lot. So hopefully we'll get a win one day in this series. I got one in the Monday night. Hopefully we'll get one in the Tuesday night as well.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations. And also, how's that feud going on with Eddie Morris? Is that still going on in the Discord, or has that pretty much
I
fizzled
love
out?
Eddie. It's frenemies. We'll see if we don't have another feud brewing with the 88, but you know, it is what it is. We'll take it and move on.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the podium, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good one.
So that was your third place finisher, Brady Floyd, and man, great run tonight for everybody in the race. I know there's a lot of cautions. Thank you for sticking with us here through that. And again, congratulations to Chris Wheeler, who still has his car parked on the front stretch here as he's really taking in the win here. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night for the doubleheader with the L&S Late Model Series as well as the SCSRA All-Star Race. So again, join us for that. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Atlee's always throwing up stuff on Twitter, little polls and comments. So join us there as well. And for everybody here at Intensity Broadcasting, thank you for joining us. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over